hope you enjoyed that. It was a, I just came up, I just came up with it like right before I started filming, and I was like, I should do an intro video thing. So I came up with that. Real quick, it was pretty basic. I just had the Alpha Base doing drums, using Ableton as the master clock. I had a clip playing one of those stabs, and then I was just actually using the Quantum here, Quantum Mark II for as a MIDI controller. So nothing, like, pretty basic. And I know maybe the mix was not so great, you know, yada yada yada. We'll just, it is what it is. So let's talk about the Jomox Alpha Base, which is a drum machine that I've had now for 6 months, and I love it. It's the best sounding drum machine I've ever used, and I've had quite a few. I'd say my top drum machines, right? Dave Smith Instruments Tempest, excellent, very colored sound. Pads weren't great. They're usable, but like, and the sequencer is not, you know, awesome. Really fun though, like very fun to jam on. Most recently I had the Vermona DRM1 MkIV. Sounds awesome, so good. It's a drum synth. You can make one shots on it, and you can tweak stuff live, which is very fun, but it's just missing some stuff for me, specifically like modulation and things like that. So yeah, then I had the Analog Rytm MkII from Elektron, which I didn't love the sound, but I would say that I absolutely loved the sequencer. Like, the sequencer kills it. So those are, I would say, like my top my favorites that I've used. This is like the best sounding, and I want to go into why the things I like about it and the things I don't. And we're just going to kind of walk through and cover the different voices. And let me just make sure I'm recording. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, we are. And then, yeah, I guess make a beat or something like that. So, well, let's just get into it. All right, so let's see. Alpha Base sounds awesome, and if you know anything about this, it's all about the... this was the beat that I had going. Actually, no, it's not. It got reset, which is a classic thing about this that I don't love. So one of the things I don't love is that the user interface is tricky. That's it. To do a lot of stuff, if you're in edit trig mode, you can't play the sounds, so then you usually end up, you know, selecting something, being here, playing it, but then if you accidentally push a button and push start, like, you're in a different pattern, and potentially your beat is gone. There is a way to quick save them, but it's just like a workflow thing that you have to get used to, and that can be difficult at times. And then the other challenging part is to get into, like, any secondary function. You have to push shift, and then let's say we wanted to change the last step, we would then click last step, and then we would change it, and then we push enter. Or if we wanted to get into the effects, we would have to push shift and then go into the effects and then push. All right, see, I just did it. I did exactly what I was talking about. Here's like flipping around here. Hold on. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, so like I did exactly what I was talking about. I meant to push shift. Gotta wait for it to blink. You push effects, push enter, and now I can get into the effects, which actually are really good. They sound great. Maybe we'll play this sound. Actually, this is... And we wanted to send that to... It's kind of nice, right? Fortunately, there's a way to quickly mute them if you want. So, a little weird that I started with effects, but that's just what happens sometimes when you don't plan these videos out. But why don't we start with a totally totally new beat. So if we go to our first pattern and we click Shift, MkIV, Enter, and now we have the initialized kit, which is really like, it leaves a lot to be desired from a sound standpoint, but that's fine. And then we want to get rid of this pattern, so Shift, clear pattern, Enter. You get the idea. So kick drum, let's talk about that, because that's what everyone knows about the Alpha Base, is that the kick drum is absolutely awesome, and it is. So let's talk about why that is. So this first sound, not so great, but we look at the screen here, we've got tune, pitch, decay, harmonics. Harmonics, obviously, you know, you can get some gnarly harmonics, get like an 808 sound or a super intense techno kick, and again, with the hair. Other YouTubers don't have this problem. Decay, obvious. Pitch is like, it's like the bass pitch, so like the where you're gonna end up at the sustain, and you can get really low with it, and it is so good. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Move this. Yeah, the tune is like the punch of the kick. So if you think about, which is then controlled by the envelope amount down here. So if we turn that down, we lose. But you can, now you're probably wondering, what is that weird kind of clacky sort of sound on the top? And that's where I think this thing really shines, is it is in the second row, where you have essentially a mix between what we would normally call like attack on a kick drum and then noise. The Vermona DRM1 MkIV, and I believe the Mark III has this, although the Mark IV is way snappier, the attack is way snappier. So on the Vermona, you have basically the attack, like the click of the kick, which is what they call pulse here on the Alpha Base, and then you have noise, and you can turn them both up. It's sort of, you know, you have gain knobs for them. That's all well and good, but they sound really disjointed because they're just there. They're not getting, geez, last time I ever straightened my hair. So they like just kind of are there on top of each other, and they're not being processed in any way. So you end up with a, in my opinion, less than desirable kick sound. On the Alpha Base, however, you have the same features, which is the pulse, so that's the click, and then this is noise, and then you have a variety of noise sounds that you can, metal noises they're called, that you can choose from, and then you have the overall attack, so the blend of these two, the combined volume. So we turn this all the way down, we just have the punch and the bass, and then we turn it up, we start getting an attack. Now if I turn both of these down, so you can hear it, I turn attack up, nothing, right? Now if I start bringing in the pulse, like, ooh, really nice and clicky, and then the noise on its own, and those different metal noises, lots of different textures that you can bring in. I know that's a little loud, sorry. So what I like to do, get a really good kick going, is one I don't really like that much punch, too much decay. I kind of get the bass going first. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'm in my headphones, so I'm a little, I feel like I'm flying blind. Yeah, that's really nice and good, thuddy. So now let's bring in some pulse. And here's where things get really cool. Like, if I turn the attack all the way up, this EQ, that's the difference between this and the Vermona, is like you can take the noise and the pulse or the attack, and you can run it through this EQ. And you just get like a really nice roll off. And if I blend the noise in, suddenly a little bit more punch. And that's how I usually like it. I like to have the attack all the way up, and then mix kind of a little bit of pulse in, a little bit of noise in, and then when I play around with the metal noise, and you just get this amazing kick. Listen to that. Sorry if you can hear the clicks through the, I guess it's a little ASMR of me. But yeah, so that's what's so cool about the kick drum, is you can shape it in such a like really, really nice way, and then bring up the decay harmonics. Yeah, you can quickly see how like powerful it is, and that's the reason I love this thing. And I swear to God, I would buy it just for the kick. And I know they sell a module, I'm aware of that, but I don't really want to go down the Euro rack rabbit hole. I started to at one point, I was like, this is a bad idea. So, and then there's an LFO, which you can assign to like the pitch, for example. Just play around with the rate. So you can get even more kind of movement, especially if you increase the decay. Like, whoa, right? So you can get a lot of really cool sounds and flavors and shapes to it just through this, and it sounds excellent. But let's get something usable. Sounds pretty nice and punchy, and let's make a pattern. So we have 32 steps here, and I think for the sake of things, yeah, we'll just go like this. So if you hold down the trig and then you place it, it'll accent it, and that's actually really important, because when you don't accent it, sometimes the punchiness is not quite there. So the kicks I like to just accent. Go to the second page, and I believe let's turn off clock sync so that I can not mess everything up on my computer. I'm trying to, I got a new camera, so we're doing 4K video, I think, and then I got some screen recording going on. Hopefully we're gonna not run out of battery and actually be able to do this whole video. Otherwise we'll do a part 2. Okay, so we've got trig, and let's push play. Wow, so cool. But yeah, it sounds really nice, right? So that's the kick. I can't say this enough. It's the best kick and best interface for. It reminds me of like the Kick 2 plugin, but analog and in a box right in front of me with tons of knobs, which is so cool. So next thing, what do we want? How about like a bass sound, right? Like in that jam that I was doing, there were bass sounds. Not coming from the Mini Moog, it was coming from here. And what I like to do with these voices, which are basically a sample, which you can mix with noise that then goes through a multi-mode filter, so low pass, band pass, high pass, or bypass it altogether, and then it goes to an analog VCA, right? So what you can do, which is really cool, here are all the samples. Samples are good. Like and you can load your own samples on here, you can record samples, but wow, just like thank you. I think it's Jorgen, who is the founder of Alpha Base, of Jomox. Really excellent choice of just stock percussion sounds that you can then layer in. So for example, I could route this to, this is not getting routed to anything. Here I can like shorten the sample if I want. So you can get like cool clicks. You can pitch it up and down. There's an LFO on here, which you can then, affect the different parameters with. You can then control the VCA. But then you can run the sample through the different filters types. So turn the resonance down. The resonance is so nice, like so smooth and not offensive. I feel like a lot of resonances are often very squelchy. So, but if I turn this off, now I don't have anything going. But if I route it to, if I turn the filter on and I increase resonance, cool. We're going to turn the effects off. So if I push 14, it'll mute the effects. And yeah, we have a self oscillation on the filter, which allows you to do cool things. What are we going to do? Make a really awesome tom sound. So isn't that nice? Turn the volume up. Ooh, I love it. I love it so much. So let's get that beat going again. And let's drop some trigs. So one of the things that's a little frustrating is that when you drop a trig, or when you hold it down, you know, it doesn't honor the kind of, I mean, it's the sustain, right? So you sometimes you'll create a sound, you're like, oh, it sounds great, and you'll drop the trig and it sounds different. It's because you've got to modify the VCA envelope. So let's do that. Why is it not changing though? Is it the filter envelope that's too long? Yeah, that's the filter. So page, this is, you know, there's a page 2, so open that up, you can change filter and stuff like that. That sounds nice, right? Just changing the envelope amount. What do I want now? A hi-hat. So let's do the open hat. Push stop. Great section. The hi-hat is analog VCA. You can toss in a sample. Again, you can bypass the filter and go straight to the VCA, but this has a hi-hat filter, which is basically like a low-pass bandpass that's been configured. If you bypass this, if you get rid of the sample altogether, you just have noise. So I have to say that if I turn this down so it doesn't, you know, hate me, and go to the resonance, again, the resonance is so nice. Like, let's just drop that. I'm trying really hard not to not reinventing the wheel here. And then we'll do like a there one here. So the reason you're hearing that is because the accent is a little. You can adjust how much the accent responds to, or I should say, how much the accent affects the overall velocity. You can change the sustain. Like, sounds so good, right? Let's say we just wanted a sample. It's a good one. So here's one complaint I have is there's this amazing hi-hat voice, and then if you mix the sample in to the filter with the noise, for whatever reason, you do not have control of the volume of the metal noise. You have control over the can send the sample to the filter, right? But if I mix in some noise, one is usually white noise, it's an 11, you know what I mean? It's so in your face. So I really wish there was a gain control. But you get the idea. Another cool thing is that you have this LFO here, and you can go ahead and send that to the tuning, so it'll like change the sample pitch, or you can send it to the cutoff, to the VCA a little bit, and then you get like a really nice little too much accent going on. So very cool. What should we add next? How about another hi-hat? Let's just do like something. That's kind of cool. So you can, there's like track swing. So if we push edit trig and then we go, see if this is, there's some stuff going on. And now I go to shuffle. Pretty cool. Just a little bit for some groove, you know? And you gotta push enter. Don't forget to push enter. And then let's turn that down in the mix and maybe change the and I want another bass, so let's do that same thing that we did before by going to the crash. Oh, my bad. This is the one. This is the one we want. So same deal, just gonna drop it like and then bring the envelope amount down. One of the things I find a little frustrating is that the velocity, the VCA, the release is like a little like short, and I should say the threshold between like long and short, there's kind of an abrupt break between the two settings. But, you know, minor complaint. So very cool. We've got some cool stuff going. How about a clap? The claps are these voices are all really the same, but I like there's some really great clap sounds on here. Money. So let's do a clap here, a clap here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then, like, let's do another clap because apparently this is a house beat. So I also kind of like using the stock samples because you get used to where they are. It's like kind of muscle memory. Yeah. I love that you can mute parts with the encoder. That's like just a fun... Yeah! I'm having a lot of fun. Okay, so we've covered everything except the mbrane voice, and make sure, yeah, we're good on battery. Love these new cameras. So let's talk about the mbrane voice, because this is the one that I think everyone has a very hard time with. And because they had such a hard time with it, they came up with these scenes which allow you to take the normal kind of voicing, and it will kind of narrow the parameters to a sweet spot that is good for different sounds. So that's very loud by default, which is set that way because driving the VCA adds such nice saturation, and that's just really the way that you should use this thing. And then, you know, you can capture each, I mean, it just sounds great. I have all of these individual outs going into my Ferrofish Pulse 16, which has connected via MIDI to my RME of X3, which is then going into Ableton. So I have all the voices separated out right now. So you're not actually hearing the stereo out, although the last three voices, the X sample 1, 2, and the FM synth go throughout the master, including the effects. So I always wish they just separated all the voices out. That would be great. But I guess there's limited real estate on a drum machine. So these different scenes on the mbrane, getting back to it. Ooh, again, loud. So nice snare sound. Another one. Another snare sound. And then if we change parameters, you know, it's kind of like within a certain realm. Another snare. Great tom sounds, very fun. Another snare. Oh, actually, sorry, that was not another snare. That was just me accidentally turning the noise up on the previous one. Some kind of weird stuff you can get weird with. More weird tom sounds. And a fat fucking kick. Listen to that thing. I had to turn it down, but that's like peak festival hour, just like, you know, everyone peaking, and just this comes on, 20,000 people lose their minds. Where did it go? Oh, wrong one. Yeah, anyway, you get the idea. So you can make some really great sounds with this. But if we go back to the regular sound, like, what is this thing? It is an analog voice, and it's super interesting. There is basically if you think about a drum head, you know, or like you have a snare, for example, or a tom, you have these two membranes, hence the name mbrane. But you have two membranes, and you strike one, and it vibrates, and then it causes the air inside the chamber to vibrate, which in turn transfers energy into the other membrane, which vibrates. So there is some type of coupling between them, and that's how you get kind of this, and that's part of the sound. So what this does is it has two resonant, I think they're basically just resonators, maybe filters with noise. There's a cool diagram in the manual. Maybe I'll put it here. Maybe I won't. If it's there, it's there. So there are these two resonant resonators, and you can hear them. If I open the decay up, you can really hear them. So this damper changes basically how long the resonator is open, and then you can control the pitch. Fun. Yeah. Oof. Right? So this is money. Great bass sounds. And then you open up the second one. Why does it sound weird? Well, down here you have this coupling. I think C-U-P-L, I guess couple. I'm gonna go with couple. And this is where they start interacting with one another. So if I turned couple 2 up, you start getting these interesting interactions. So then if I close the damper, cool bass sound, right? I pushed the scene button. You gotta be careful, so we just lost our sound. But I guess that was a good demonstration of the how those two fit together. And then on page 2, you have the attack, decay, and attack, decay of the, as well as the envelope amounts on the next row to change like the, you know, if we open these back up, sorry, whoops. Well, let's keep this one shut for now. Go here. Hold on, I have to do something. I mean, you know what I mean? Kind of like a silly tech house stuff. Ooh, careful. Again, I'm a little, even though I've been using this for so long, I'm a little cautious just because I know if I don't have edit trig down and I accidentally hit a pattern, and I haven't pushed quick store, preset quick store, pattern quick store, then I might lose my stuff, but we didn't. So back to the mbrane. I got this goofy thing going on here. If we change this back to normal, you can get nice kind of metallic. Oof, wow. Nice snare. So everyone talks about how hard this is to use and how complicated it is, and I think it makes a lot of sense. So I really like it. And I think you can get some really nice sounds, especially basses, snares, toms, kicks. Like it's money. I love it. They make a module for this too, but it's really nice to have it all in the same package. So maybe we'll just drop a trig like on the second time around, right before the last snare. Yeah! Yeah, so that's the mbrane sound. Another thing I really miss is the sequencer from the Elektron machine. You know what they say, once you go Elektron, you never go back, right? I miss micro timing, so that's like something that I really wish was here. How much time we got? Good on battery. Yeah, let's keep it going. I know it's gonna be a longer video than I normally do. Let's talk about the X sample. You can record in, I'm not going to demonstrate that because I will likely mess it up, and but you can do it, and sometimes I will send stuff here, and I believe it's as simple as going into edit trig, X record, and then I think arm it. Yeah, and then you would record in, and then the RAM buffers are a little tricky, but if you use an octatrack, you're probably like, that's not tricky. It's basically split up into two pieces or two sections. But then this is just a digital voice, so I want a conga. Where is the conga? There's a conga I always use and I cannot seem to find it for the life of me, but I'm determined, so. This is how you know you're crazy, when you're like, I don't care that I'm filming. I'm gonna find that conga. I can't find it right now. It's very frustrating. So we're just gonna settle for a cowbell. All right, let's do it. It wasn't what I wanted, but it's there. There is an LFO that you can use. Change the tuning. You know, so you can get some variation, but I kind of like it just being steady. We could reverse it. Very tech house Claude Von Stroke, just weird reverse sounds everywhere. I love that dirty bird vibe. So that's the X samples. Pretty straightforward. And then the last one is the FM synth, which is actually really cool. It's a digital voice. And it's laid out in a very clever manner. Basically, these are the frequencies. Oh, oops. So frequency for operator 1, frequency for operator 2, 3, 4. And then over here you have the, you know, 1 modulating 2, 1 modulating 3, etc. And then if you push page 2, or go to page B, you have the different envelopes for each one. So you can get used to it. And you can so like, how would you use this thing? Well, one of the cool things about this is how MIDI capable it is. So let me just try to show that real quick. If I go MIDI and FM, where is it? Ah, there it is. I think I'm hungry, so I'm having a little trouble. Oof, ugh. But like, just using the mini mode to trigger it. So let's get cool bells. That's pretty. Ooh, let's get some reverb going. It's like it's a nice reverb, you know what I mean? Enter, shift, FX, enter, and then probably FM delay. Wait, this is delay. Let's get that Claude Von Stroke beat we were making is going to X sample, right? Yeah, we got a kick. And okay, so before I continue with this little musical interlude, another frustrating thing is that for the FM synth to control the volume, you have to go into the stereo panning section and then you can control the volume. So that's just like, you know, a little annoying, I guess. But again, minor, like this thing sounds so good, I don't care. that's the FM voice. It's really cool. You can obviously get weird with it and do anything you want, but I guess it's a 4-operator FM voice, and it sounds really good. The effects sound really good. So maybe let's wrap this up. Let's hear what we had. Yeah. You guys get the idea. Video's getting long. So why do I love this again? Final thoughts. It is the incredible sounds that you can get out of this thing. It sounds so good. And the sequencer and the user interface could be better for sure, but it doesn't bother me because it sounds so good. How do I use this in the studio though? Oh, okay. First of all, I didn't mention a couple things. There is param locking on this. It's pretty straightforward. You have to go into the sequence mode. So we're in the sequence mode now, I think. And then if I were to go to edit trig, let's say we want the bass sound to be like different. So we would go to, let's choose the other one because they're more, yeah. So we would hold this down and then we would, so you can do param locks, you know. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. Not really. One of the things you'll notice is that when you set a new param lock, it then sets that value to be the value for the subsequent trigger. So you actually have to go in and change it back. The non-param locking, like pitch locking, could actually be really cool. Like you see all the steps here. So if I choose like the kick, you can see the steps and I can change the pitch. But what's annoying is that you can only pitch up. Kind of a little weird. So the param locking is there, and it's totally usable when you're programming. But that's not really how I use this thing. That's kind of getting into okay, this is actually the end now. The way that I use this is as a studio tool. I'm a studio musician. I'm not playing live. I like to jam and stuff sometimes. But like, this is extremely MIDI capable. So I have different, I believe I'm recording my Ableton screen so I can show you. I have these different, like, here's the kick. A different like external instrument for different things. So you know what I mean? So you can actually use this with MIDI from your DAW in a way that makes it so much better. So I will basically take, you know, a different instrument and then just come up with a part. And there's CC numbers for all of the different parameters on here. So if I basically just click, you know, overdub, I believe that's not session record, automation record, right? And then I would, I don't want to risk messing up my recording right now, but I can just crank on the encoders and it'll record the movement and then it'll spit it back, right? So I think where this thing really shines is not so much like a jamming box like the Elektron. I think it can do that, but like Elektron boxes are just Elektron boxes. Like if I were going to do a live set with just, you know, gear and stuff, where I'm turning knobs, like it wouldn't be this guy. This girl, it wouldn't be this one because it is, Yeah, it's not really where it shines. I would potentially have it running into a mixer, you know, and then playing around with stuff, but I wouldn't be like tweaking parameters. If I were gonna do something like that, I would probably have like a Vermona or an Elektron box, and I'd be playing around with stuff live. But as a studio tool, this is the one. This is the one for the studio, in my opinion. Yeah, the sounds are just that good. So I think I covered everything. My God. I know this was a longer video. I guess that's fine. I do love to chat, so if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer about the Alpha Base, I will be more than happy to, because I love this thing. And I would say that it's totally worth getting if you are a more experienced, I hate the word producer, but if you're more experienced with making music with gear, and just like, I've been doing this stuff for well over a decade. So it was very easy for me to pick this up and start using it. As a beginner, you'd probably have a hard time. Wouldn't recommend it. Get a Digitac. But yeah, I love this thing. I'm really happy with it. There are things that could be better. I know there's a Mark II coming out. I'm excited to get that when it does. We'll see what changes. But I mean, if I wouldn't wait for that. I think this sounds so great, and like, I use it on every track. Like, when I need a kick drum, boom. That's what I go to. Yeah, that's it. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if there's anything that you would like me to do a video about, I am very open to all suggestions. So leave a comment, and I will see you next time.